Sometimes life doesn't go as planned. The relationship ends, the dream fades, the door shuts. And we're left wondering, now what? That's exactly where Ruth found herself. A woman whose name we know today, but whose story began with loss, pain, and uncertainty. Let's step into her shoes and discover why her journey still speaks to us today. Ruth was a Moabite, an outsider. She married into an Israelite family, leaving her people and her gods. But tragedy hit. Her father-in-law died. Then her husband. Then her brother-in-law. 3 women, 3 widows. Left with nothing, no protection, no income, no future. Her mother-in-law, Naomi, was bitter and broken. She even said, "Call me Mara," which means bitter, because the Lord had dealt harshly with her. But here's where Ruth's story turns. In Ruth 1:16, she says these powerful words, "Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God." This was more than loyalty. It was faith. Ruth didn't know what the future held, but she trusted the God of her mother-in-law, even in the dark. She followed Naomi back to Bethlehem, with no guarantee of what life would look like. They were poor, so Ruth did what she could. She gathered leftover grain in the fields. Behind the workers, that's humility, that's survival. That's faith in motion. And then, as only God can orchestrate, Ruth happened to end up in the field of Boaz, a kind, godly man who noticed her heart and honored her integrity. And the rest, God's divine setup. Boaz became her husband. Ruth, the widow and outsider, became part of Jesus' family line. Let that sink in. The woman who lost everything became the ancestor of the Messiah. So what can we learn from Ruth? 1. God sees the faithful. Even in the background, Ruth wasn't on a stage. She wasn't chasing fame. She was working behind the scenes, doing what she could, where she was, with what she had. And God saw her. If you feel overlooked, remember, God honors faithfulness in the small things. 2. Your past doesn't disqualify your future. Ruth wasn't born into the right family. She didn't have the right resume. She wasn't even born in Israel. But God doesn't need a perfect past. He writes new futures. 3. Sometimes the road to purpose begins with pain. Ruth had no idea that loss would lead her into legacy. And maybe your pain is the path to your purpose too. If you're in a season of waiting, weeping, or wandering, don't give up. God specializes in rewriting broken stories. And like Ruth, He may be preparing something bigger than you can imagine. So what should you do today? Stay faithful. Be courageous. Trust God in the unknown, like Ruth. Your obedience today may lead to your destiny tomorrow. And remember, even when life doesn't go as planned, God's plan still stands.